Welcome back. As we approach the one-year anniversary of the May 8th storm this Saturday, we're looking back at what happened that day and perhaps what we can do differently to prepare for future disasters. Those high winds made many of us fear for our homes. And for more on how your home's construction can make a difference in rough weather, we're joined by SIU School of Architecture Director and former Chancellor Walter Wendler. Thanks for being here.
My pleasure, Emily.
So do you remember where you were at when this storm hit?
I do. Actually, I was in the architecture building on the 4th floor of Quincy Hall, and they called and told us we need to get down to the basement, which I proceeded to do, but not quickly enough. We had a tree come through the window, so I remember exactly where I was.
Wow, so a first-hand look in the architecture building itself.
Right.
That's interesting. Well, I mean, talking about our area's, I guess, geographical issues, we've talked about the sinkholes actually earlier in this half hour, but I mean, we're subject to a lot of different things weather-wise as well.
We are. You know, one of the things when people buy homes, to understand what the home site was used for previously, and also to understand its relationship to the floodplain, as we see in Nashville right now. And the buyer has to be aware on that. You have to really understand those issues, and I think it's important that people check those out. Find out if you can get flood insurance, find out where the 100-year floodplain is relative to the height of your house.
And if you are thinking about buying a home, what are some of the things as you're looking at that home, maybe you're getting an inspection on it, what should you be looking for?
That's a good question. I think, you know, one of the things, make sure that the materials in the home are good materials, good roofing materials and that sort of thing. I think it's maybe goes without saying, but I'd look very carefully at the landscaping around the home, the trees and so on. A lot of people pruned trees after May 8th last year because they saw what could happen in a strong wind. So I think that's very, very important to just check how the home is sited, and the materials that are used for construction are both important issues. Sure,
and if you know you're currently living in your home, there's maybe not a lot you can do to ensure the structure of that home is solid and secure, but I mean, or is there any small things you can do?
Well, there are some things. I mean, I think just general maintenance and taking care of things are good. If siding is loose, you know, and sometimes it happens and nails work out and that sort of thing, I think it's good to make sure that stuff is always tight. Check the roof periodically, make sure the seal tabs on the shingles are still good and tight. Which will prevent loss in the event of high winds. In terms of rains, I think make sure the drainage ways around the home are clear. Not much you can do about a big flood, but in terms of just heavy rains like we've had here in the last weekend, I think it's very important to make sure that the water drains away from the house carefully. This is another thing as you look at a home. Make sure that that it's on high ground in the immediate area. You don't want to be on the low spot on the lot. You want to be on the high spot.
With the May 8th storm, and we're looking at video of all the damage that caused, was this sort of a topic for students in architecture to maybe learn some things from?
Yeah, it was. We, in the School of Architecture, we use, in a sense, current events, not just weather events, but all kinds of events to help us cue the kinds of things we want to do with our students and what's of interest to the students. For example, the disaster in Haiti recently has caused some of our classes to look at temporary shelter for people after a disaster like that earthquake in Haiti, because there's so many people that are completely homeless and without any place to hang a shirt or lay their head at night. So those things do make a difference.
Thank you so much, Walter Wendler with the SIU School of Architecture. We appreciate your time this morning.
Pleased to be here. Thank you.
Now we're going to